When you think about it, Taika Waititi has played a weird list of characters in his movies. He's played a marijuana-addicted criminal, vampire,
Was an 18th century dandy.
Look, a ghost cat. Blood is
a priest,
by wolves. And you know that if you're ever in that situation, there are always two doors to choose from. And through the first door, it's easy to get through that door, and on the other side, waiting for you, are all the nummiest treats you can imagine. Fanta, Doritos, LMP, burger rings, Coke Zero. But you know what? There's also another door. Not the burger ring door, not the Fanta door. Another door that's harder to get through. Guess what's on the other side? Anyone want to take a guess?
Vegetables?
No. Not vegetable.
and then he played an alien rock creature that is best friends with Thor.
And blood all over this. Guys, can you clean up the weapons once you've finished your fight? Disgusting slobs.
Oh, Thor, want to use a big wooden fork? Yeah, not really useful unless you're fighting off 3 vampires that were huddled together.
Hammer.
You rode a hammer. The hammer rode you on your back. Oh my god, the hammer pulled you off.
Sounds like you had a pretty special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and that losing it was almost comparable to losing a loved one.
Yeah.
Now he is playing Hitler.
Hey, Jojo, my old friend.
Hi, Adolf.
What's wrong, little man?
They call me a scared rabbit.
Let them say whatever they want. People used to say a lot of nasty things about me. Oh, this guy's a lunatic. Oh, look at that psycho. He's gonna get us all killed.
Jojo Rabbit is the new Taika Waititi film, and it's about a Nazi youth who has an imaginary friend who is Hitler, and he wants to be a German soldier until he gets into this accident where he, with an explosive at a training camp, and so now he can't be a soldier now, and he lives with his mom. His father is fighting in Italy, and until he finds out that there is a Jewish girl living in his attic, and it goes, and we see a lot of historic stuff from this time period, and so I really liked Jojo Rabbit. This is, after seeing another period piece film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and now we got Jojo Rabbit. I really liked it. Taika Waititi does have this great performance as Hitler. It's not really offensive. I mean, it's not as offensive as that 90s show.
Heil, honey.
Hi, honey.
Heil, honey.
Hello.
I'm home. Heil.
Oh, the 90s. So, well, back to Jojo Rabbit. So, yes, Taika Waititi does bring this great performance as Hitler. He is funny, and it's not that offensive. They don't cross the line. They don't take a big gap over it. A little bit of the beginning is, they literally play, the song by the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand, when there's a lot of pictures of, I think like Hitler arriving in a plane, everyone's like cheering for him. I actually thought they were going to take stock footage. It was from footage of the Beatles coming out of an airplane when they're arriving in America. I thought they were going to show some stock footage from that, but they don't. And yeah, that does get that is, I think maybe some people might find that offensive, but most it gets a little more tamed with the Nazi stuff. There's still a lot of slapstick in it with all the over the top training, and there's there's Sam Rockwell and Rebel Wilson as these Nazis, and they're trying to train these kids to fight, and a scene with them swimming, trying to get them in the swimming pool, trying to throw explosives. There's a lot of crazy stuff that they do, and so. But back to the performances, there are so many good performances by Scarlett Johansson, Sam Rockwell, Rebel Wilson, and I forgot the kid's name. I think it's Rowan something, and the girl that played the Jewish girl, I think her name is Elsa. They all do good. To me, Sam Rockwell is the best one, actually, because really he's not a bad guy, as he would kind of just be this, this as a Nazi, he would just be this, like a jerk, but he's not really. He does have some sympathy, and it just kind of shows that, really, like, Nazis none of them were that bad. They were just taking orders. And so he's not really cliched, and he feels more human than the rest of them. And that's what I like about his character. And so another good thing is that Taika Waititi does do what he's mostly known for, and he has done this in movies like Boy and Thor Ragnarok, because mostly why the movie was Thor Ragnarok was controversial was when something that a scene that was meant to be serious, he does kind of add humor to it, like the scene when Asgard is destroyed, he makes it funny, with his character, with his rock alien character, he makes it kind of funny. And Boy, as he kind of is this, he's kind of this psychotic, crazy marijuana criminal, but his kids, his sons think, he's this awesome guy who's like a samurai and knows Michael Jackson, and that's what he does. He makes something that is kind of sad or really, really emotional, and taking something basically the Third Reich, and it is funny, but then he does have the times where he kind of keeps the comedy tamed and knows when he should not use comedy. That's another good thing. He doesn't use comedy a lot in this movie. He knows when to use comedy and when not to use comedy in this movie. And that's why I think this works as a good comedy. And another thing I do like is a lot of the sets are good. How they represent, I think it's Austria or it's Germany. I'm probably sure. Maybe it is Germany. And another good thing he does is how these characters are written. Scarlett Johansson's character, I don't want to spoil this movie, because definitely go and watch it. And how she's kind of this mother who is kind of destroyed after, because since her husband has been off in Italy for 3 years, and how you can just kind of see how she's struggling, with work, and now she's trying to now she's trying to help a Jewish girl, and so as that, and also Jojo, and it's mostly about him, and he has to decide. It's about him figuring out what is really right. Is it really, if the Nazis are good, or are they bad, and is war, and he just, because as we see all the kids, they all want this war to come, and they want to fight, but but at the end it shows how war is bad, and it's not like Saving Private Ryan, how it does it with all the gore and the there's some of it with how Spielberg did it with the with all the we see the towns, the destroyed towns. They have that, but they do it in a way on how people do on effect on people, their families, their friends. That's what it does, and it doesn't really. I wouldn't call it a Holocaust movie, because it's not really that much in it. We don't see any concentration camps or any Jews getting taken out of their house. We don't see any of that. I mean, like, there is this, like, plot hole. It's about, Jojo, and he wants to figure out more about this Jewish girl and about, Jews, because there's this really, the subplot about stuff that people, like, back in ancient medieval times, that's what they thought of them. Like, this stuff about how, like, they have horns and bat wings. That does kind of drag to me. But I wouldn't call it a Holocaust movie. It is kind of a war movie, but it is mostly a dramedy. And at times it reminded me of another dramedy called Pleasantville, and it was about like two kids going into a war and going into this 50s TV show. But as we see it turn into into fascism and segregation, because there's a lot of symbolism to that stuff, and as we see a lot, and there is a lot of Nazi symbolism in this movie, and at times that's what Jojo Rabbit kind of reminds me of at times, but really the moral is about war is that we shouldn't be fighting. We should really be celebrating life. That's really the most part. That's really what Scarlett Johansson's character really wants to tell Jojo. The war isn't really good, and that's what he really learns at the end. How people die, and it's just, and as we see even his friend Captain K, who as he turns good, but as he just sees him get shot to death by a Russian soldier when the Russians and the Americans come, as we can just see how emotional it is. And so that's why I really like Jojo Rabbit. Right now I am confused what is a really good movie. Like, I'm confused what are the two good movies. It's either Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Jojo Rabbit. We'll figure that out sooner, and probably in January when I go through the best movies of 2019. So yeah, Jojo Rabbit, I give it 10 out of 10. It's a great comedy. I recommend it. Go see it. It's not offensive. It's a great story about how war, fascism is bad, and that really we should all be celebrating life and loving each other. So thank you for watching this video, and leave a like in the description, and please subscribe. Bye.
Oh, tonight you were making schnitzel. What a jerk! You must be real mad at me, honey. I'm a very, very bad Hitler.